It's a moral victory for Croatia, we just said, and it's a stunning World Cup victory for France. So there's not much else that you can complain about. I mean, there were some comments that France weren't playing prettily enough, but nobody gets a ribbon for playing pretty rugby, pretty soccer. You just get the star, and that's what the French want.
Do you agree with that? That it wasn't pretty, as you put it?
It probably wasn't, but this is about winning a World Cup, and in tomorrow, in 5 or 20 years' time, nobody's going to worry about the style. And I think somebody like Didier Deschamps was intelligent enough to realise what he could do with the players he had available, and he, in my opinion, built a team which is like a shapeshifter, one that was able to adapt, multifaceted team which he could adapt to every situation. And he was intelligent enough to sort out game plans which worked for that team right throughout. So it wasn't about playing pretty, it wasn't about pleasing advertisers or pleasing the public, it was just about bringing home that cup. And you just got to say he succeeded.
I find you guys a little bit harsh on the French in terms of, because I thought, especially playing that zone defense, we saw it in particular in the semi-final against Belgium. The scoreline doesn't tell the tale of how much drama there was in that match. It was 1-0, the final result, Simon. But we saw both the French and the Belgians mentally extremely tough, lots of skill, and very little real foul play. Instead, we saw two teams who gave it their best, it seemed.
Yes, but it depends how you give it to your best, Francois. I think if the question isn't whether the teams didn't play to the best of their ability, but it's the way they.
But I thought it was interesting football to watch. It wasn't boring. It wasn't anti-football. It wasn't. It wasn't like the Sweden game against England, where the Swedes never played.
I'm certainly not taking anything away from it. I'm just saying that I disagree with those people who have criticised France for not playing attractive football, because it's not about playing attractive football. If you want 5-0, you go and do something else. This is about winning a World Cup, and the philosophy that he's built and the strategy that he had right throughout the competition has just worked perfectly.
I think it's about being realistic as well. We need to be objective and say France didn't probably play or dominate the football games the way people would have wanted them to, and everyone said that from the very beginning. Especially, and this is perhaps I disagree a little bit with Ian on this, especially considering the players they had. After that first game against Australia, Deschamps was very clear with the intent of where he wanted to go with that French team, and that was solidity. When you take out Ousmane Dembélé, who's a creative, young, fast player, to put in Olivier Giroud, who's going to have that impact, that weight on the defence, and you bring in a Blaise Matuidi in midfield who has the experience but who's not rapid, who's not a person who's going to score you goals, but he's someone who's going to knuckle down the game and close down your opponents and give you that fighting spirit, then it shows that France didn't set out to dominate their opponents and to play, the Yoga Bonita football, which we've come to associate with the Brazilians, or even when the Spanish won the World Cup, by just the tiki-taka football and all of that. But that comes back to what we were saying before. To do that, you need individualities, and there's been that shift in football where you are prioritising now the team spirit, you're prioritising a lot of things around the play that necessarily isn't a good thing. When Iceland put 10 men behind the ball and then rely on corners or long throw-ins, no one criticises them, and they're the first ones to say we could play free-flowing football and we'd lose every game 6-0. And no one criticises them because with the players at their disposal, that's what you get. When you have France players like Paul Pogba, like Matuidi, like Griezmann and so, who don't dominate the game, that's where it opens the door for criticism, whether right or wrong. And that's the reality of it.